Joining us this morning is a very busy man. He's had a very busy week, and we appreciate his time. The Attorney General of the state of Georgia, Mr. Sam Olens. Sam, good morning.
Good morning, Chris.
How are you?
Doing well, tired, disappointed, but, that makes November 6th even more important.
Let's talk about the decision by the Supreme Court yesterday as it pertains to the Affordable Care Act. First of all, how surprised were you in the decision, and also how they got to their decision?
I think it's a fair statement that both sides were very surprised. The president told us it wasn't a tax. Democrat congressional leadership said it wasn't a tax. They knew they wouldn't have 60 votes if they called it a tax. The Justice Department, doing their job, trying to make the best argument, included an argument under the tax clause, and Justice Roberts and four liberal justices agreed.
And surprising that it was Justice Roberts. That's kind of been the big story after the announcement yesterday. It was that it was he who cast the deciding vote, and I don't think anybody saw that coming.
Well, in fairness to the Chief Justice, the language and the opinion on the Commerce Clause and Spending Clause is very good, and the states clearly had a big win with regard to the expansion of Medicaid. But overall, we lost the battle because the act was upheld, and it's terrible law, it's terrible policy. It provides neither affordable nor accessible health care. And while many folks are jubilant and dancing in the street, I wish that one day they would ask, where's this money coming from?
Well, exactly, and that's, again, as we talk about the state challenges, of course, Georgia, one of the, I believe, 26 states, Sam, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
The challenge that on that basis. So, again, what does yesterday's decision, of that part of it looks like a win, what does that mean now for the state of Georgia?
Well, it means that November 6th is that much more important. I think the governor correctly stated yesterday that they would hold off any decisions about whether to start exchanges until after the November 6th election, based on Governor Romney's promise to provide the state's waivers come his swearing in if he wins November 6th. It makes that election more important. The country has a very clear contrast between the two candidates. One candidate who wants to give everything to everyone and throw us off a fiscal cliff, and another candidate that frankly believes in capitalism and the free market system and believes we need to get our finances back in order.
And I heard people say that yesterday, while some states may have won the battle, Obama won the war, and I think maybe yesterday Obama won the battle. The war's on in November, and that's where ultimately will be decided.
I agree 100%, and frankly, when you look at part of that opinion, Chief Justice Roberts gave us some gifts. I mean, for instance, on page 6 of the opinion, he talks about how it's not the court's role to determine policy and whether or not Congress acted wisely. It's just their job to determine whether or not the act under any circumstance is constitutional. So I think the lesson is be careful who you vote for.
Well, and that's kind of what it seemed by saying that. Now, do you believe that yesterday's decision will fire up the conservative base enough to provide any kind of difference in the election in November?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, for instance, the governor already raised over $3 million yesterday simply based on folks being utterly disgusted with the decision.
And that's remarkable.
And and these were small donors. These weren't, write $10,000 checks. These were write $10, $20.
Yeah.
So I think that the base is charged. I just hope they stay charged through November 6th, and it's my hope that we have a new president come next year.
And again, I know there was some discussion yesterday as to what would be the biggest factor coming up to the November election. Would it be health care? Would it be the economy? And I submit that they kind of go hand in hand. If you're a small business owner and you are forced now to provide health care coverage for your employees, that's going to hit you in the pocketbook. And, of course, that means, well, if I have to lay off some folks to get that done, I've got to make ends meet. Unlike the federal Congress, I've got to make payroll on Friday. And so I think that it is an economic issue.
Clearly, it's a job killer. There's no question about it. I mean, everyone wants better health care. Everyone wants our country to provide the best medical care possible. But the fact of the matter is someone has to pay for it.
Right.
And do you want to do it through the tax system and through using the market, or do you want to act like Europe? I have no desire to act like Europe.
Mm-hmm.
I want to have presidents who frankly believe in the free market system, who believe in capitalism. And I frankly find it pretty scary that we've got a president with such extreme views.
And again, I don't think anyone argues that the healthcare system does not need some adjustments and some tweaking. I think that's almost a universal thought. But in this instance, with this piece of legislation, that sounds like we're trying to drive a nail in with an anvil. It's just far too much.
Absolutely. This legislation affects everyone. When the president keeps saying, if you like your insurance, you can keep it, that's nonsense. Because the first time the insurance policy significantly changed, it has to provide all the coverage required in Obamacare. Additionally, the CBO recently revised their estimates and now said up to 20 million folks are going to lose their employer-sponsored health insurance because business won't be able to afford it. So it's a huge problem for our country. It's a huge blow to us financially. And I just think it's a terrible, terrible decision.
Well, again, I think surprising a lot of folks yesterday, but again, it's just because the Supreme Court ruled on something, that does not mean that it has to be law. That decision, again, will be made in November.
I agree, sir.
Fair enough. There you go. Sam, we appreciate you joining us this morning as always, and we'll be talking to you again soon, and we'll wait and see what kind of ripple effects yesterday's decision has.
Thank you very much.